Well, good morning, everyone. And once again, welcome to another live this morning. Hope you're having a great start to your day and you've had your coffee. And as usual, we want to say hello to a few friends here. Brahim, number one on the hip parade from Portland, Oregon. Mike from Norland, how is you? And Sandy, good morning. And Eric from Ottawa, bonjour. Andrea, Niagara Falls, good morning to you. Wendy from Markham, how are you? Mary, Norwich. And Jeanette, who are you, Jeanette? Jeanette and Nicole, back to back from our staff. We love them dearly. Shelley from Kansas. Wendy from Wasaga, good morning. And Linda from Waterloo. Sherry, oh, I want to sing, Sherry. From Windsor, Pat, good morning. And Betty Lynn, how are you from Brantford? Brantford? Georgie, Halifax, Nova Scotia. Catherine, British Columbia. Nellie, it's Nellie's birthday today. Well, happy birthday. Kevin, our dear friend from Oshawa. And I just missed one there. Olive, how are you? Catherine from Newfoundland. Keith, our friend from Bell River. Veronica and Laurie, good morning, Niagara Falls, the kidneys of Canada. Darlene from Saskatchewan. Hazel from Newfoundland. Manette, bonjour. And Linda from Chino, California. Gloria from San Antonio, Texas. Bernadita, good morning. Donna, how are you? And Gary from Bolton. And Wanda from Ridgeway. And Lori from Alberta. Good morning. Sue, how are you? Rainy St. Petersburg. Yes. Shireen. Rachel. And Barbara from Cape Breton. Julie, good morning. And Linda from Spruce Grove. Vince, happy Thursday. Patricia from Nickel City. Cheryl, good morning. Debbie, Sturgeon Falls. Joanne, Saskatchewan. And Penny Lane from, how are you? Victoria. Wanda from Virginia. Couple of more. Jerry, how are you from New Brunswick? Kathy, Simcoe. Lynn, or Wendy, no, it's Wendy, sorry. Nativity, Donna from Newfoundland, good morning. Andrea from Nouveau Brunswick, our dear friend Jerry and Yolande, bonjour. Luella, West Tennessee. Joy, freezing like yesterday. Frances Marie. Bernadita in Oslo, wow. Douglas and Lori. And Darlene, good morning. Okay, let's get going. And, okay, now, did you get our newsletter this morning? Okay? How to survive through the holidays. Okay? How to survive through the holiday. Holiday eating. Now, we all understand that. Okay? You don't have to be a rocket scientist to know that a lot of people, like, if I counted the carbs that I've eaten compared to what I usually eat, it ain't good. Okay? It ain't good. Now, the good thing with me is I love to exercise, and I really haven't stopped at all during the holidays, and I've kept exercising, and I'm trying to be careful. And one of the things to do, we talked about it this morning in our newsletter. Now, again, if you don't get our newsletter, you make sure you sign up. Go to martinclinic.com, sign up for the newsletter. And if you've signed up and you're not getting it, check your spam. Hey, what do I know? I don't know why you're not getting it. Why do I even talk? Okay, but we put out a great newsletter this morning with some practical advice on, how to limit the damage. But what we were talking about is how fast the liver gets damaged. We don't think about it. We don't see it. You can't see fatty liver, okay? But in North America, 50% of kids have fatty liver. They don't know. And fatty liver, as I've taught you time and time and time again, is a dangerous thing. It's a dangerous thing because fatty liver, what happens in the liver doesn't stay in the liver, okay? So just rinse and repeat. I got to tell you that. It's not Las Vegas. Your liver's not Vegas. What happens there doesn't stay there. When your liver gets full of fat, it has to do something. And what it does is that it starts to produce more and more triglycerides. Glycerides, fat. So 3 fat balls. Okay? And isn't it amazing? I still can't get over it that medicine, it hardly, you get a lipid profile and they're so psyched out. They're so focused in on cholesterol that they don't even, barely look at triglycerides. And the most dangerous thing that your liver produces is triglycerides. Okay? We all need triglycerides in your blood. They're not, but you don't want a lot of them. And guys, you know me in blood work. I really like looking at blood work, but your HDL has to be higher than, that's your cholesterol, has to be higher than your triglycerides. And most people, they don't know it. They're upside down. They have high triglycerides and low HDL cholesterol. And guys, that's a sign that you have fatty liver. And, like medicine, unfortunately, because they forget their biochemistry, they're waiting to see if your liver enzymes go up, or you get an ultrasound done on your liver and then they see fatty liver. But way before that, guys, we mentioned this in our email this morning. It only takes 3 weeks to develop fatty liver. You can eat great and then take 3 weeks off and you can develop fatty liver. It's unreal. It's unreal. But the good news, and this is why I'm getting you all charged up for the reset. January 1st. Okay? Okay? Have your last junk. Have your last carbohydrates on December 31st, and January 1st, let's start together doing the reset. Okay? And the good news about the reset, okay, as far as the liver goes, it takes 3 weeks to start fatty liver. Okay? Can you imagine how many millions of people got fatty liver? They don't even know it. They have no idea. They're not looking for it. But the good news is, and I've taught you this in the past, that it only takes 6 days to empty that liver on the reset. It only takes 6 days. And it's not 6 days of fasting. It's fasting without fasting. One thing that happens on the reset is that your liver empties itself in the first week. I know, and again, we talk about this all the time. I know the scale. The scale is important. I used to tell my patients, would you throw away the stinking scale? It's like people that take their blood pressure every 5 minutes or their blood sugar every 5 minutes. It used to drive me crazy. I said, no wonder you're so stressed. Quit taking your blood pressure all the time. I'm not against taking blood pressure, of course, but people, they used to come in. I remember they used to write down every day, 5 days, times a day, their blood pressure. They say, Doc, you want to see my readings? No. I said, I just took your blood pressure in the office. Why do I want to read what's happened to you the last 3 months? I'm not interested in that. Anywho, okay, why am I talking about blood pressure when I'm talking about the liver? Anyways, back to the liver. In 6 days, 6 days, if we change our eating, when we go from carbohydrates to protein and fat, eggs, meat, and cheese, the liver empties itself in 6 days. It gets rid of its glycogen. It lowers your triglycerides. It ups your HDL. Remember what your HDL is, okay? HDL is so important because those are your FedEx trucks, your Amazon trucks, your whatever trucks on the highways and byways of your blood vessels. You need cholesterol to take the triglycerides, hitch their wagon to them, and bring them back to the liver for processing. And that happens, my friend, in 6 days. Okay? 6 days. Now, okay? So, is the liver important? You can't get, listen, Linda, listen, Larry, listen, you can't get diabetes. You can't get diabetes without it starting in the liver. It starts in the liver. I know the liver gets no respect until the only time a liver gets respect is when it's diseased. And then there's a panic. But guys, to protect your liver is to eat the right foods. What is the hardest thing on your liver? Fructose, high fructose corn syrup. Why do you think? It's when you drink. When you drink sugar is the worst thing you can do for your liver. And all these sodas, all these juices, all these stupid smoothies. And, now there's a good smoothie. Dr. Martin's Perfect Smoothie. Because we're not using juice. We're using what? Cream. And don't let anyone tell you not to have dairy. I don't like that. It bothers me. Don't ditch dairy, switch it. Get to the cream. Okay, now, okay? So we talked about that liver. We're talking about the reset. Now, I just read an article, and I'm going to read it to you, and we're going to talk about this a little bit this morning, okay? Choline and B12 deficiencies, they did both. Now, what is choline? Choline is an amino acid. Now, we all know what vitamin B12 is. Okay? The world has gone stupid. The world has gone stupid. Because they have an agenda. It's going to get worse, my friend. Coming to a theater near you, it's already here. And that is, let's get away from animal products. And when they get away from animal products, they will try and indoctrinate our children, our grandchildren, my great-grandchildren, with this nonsense about plants. And, but you can't get B12 in the plant kingdom, nor do you get choline in the plant kingdom. Choline is an amino acid. It's found in eggs, meat, and cheese. Highest source is eggs for choline. Okay? Do I like eggs? Yes. Dr. Martin, on the reset, how many eggs can we eat? 100 a day. I don't care. We're not counting. And we're not certainly counting calories. But I'll tell you something. When you have 3 or 4 eggs in the morning for breakfast, you ain't going to be hungry. Believe you me. Okay? So all I'm saying is this study showed, okay, deficiencies. And it's interesting because I've always talked, and you guys have heard me 1,000 times talk about deficiency in B12. It is so common in our society, 80%, I say, 80% of the population are low in B12. Unfortunately, the testing for B12 is 100 years old. We ought to give it a birthday party and put it to bed, or at least change the parameters, the numbers. Okay? If you're just around the 200 in blood work, they're happy with that. It's because they don't understand B12 and they don't understand how it works in the body. They don't understand its importance, and your body can't work properly without B12. And so a low number, oh, you're within normal limits. No, you're not. That's 200, 300, 400. That's for mice. That's not for you. A human being needs to be between 800 and 1200. And this comes from 50 years of clinical practice and watching people with low B12 and how poorly they do. Okay? Now, back to the study. The study concluded, okay, when you are low in B12, you're often low in choline. Well, of course, makes sense. Right? It makes sense. B12 is only found in red meat. People don't eat red meat, and they're deficient in B12, and they wouldn't even know it because no one's telling them they could be very seriously deficient in choline. Okay, choline. Your brain needs choline. But listen, these are the symptoms. Okay, these are the symptoms. I wrote it down from the study. These are the symptoms. Brain, moods, neurological, and blood. Okay, so let me just give you a few of them. These are B12 and choline symptoms when you're deficient. Okay, possible symptoms when you're deficient. Your brain, memory. Choline, guys, think of choline. Choline is so important for the brain. Neurologically, your brain synapses, the grid, you have an electrical grid up there. Your neurons, your brain cells, they need choline and they need B12 to work properly. Cognitive, so memory, headaches, migraines. Okay? Isn't it? I always found it fascinating when people got off those crappy carbohydrates and people that live on chicken and salad are often suffer with headaches. Now, I'm not against chicken and salad, okay? I like to tease, but I'm not against it. I'm just telling you, you know me, good, better, best. Okay? You like that? Good. Chicken and salad is good, but it's far from the best. Eggs, meat, and cheese are the best. Well, steak specifically. If you want to cover your bases, then eat steak. You're going to cover all your bases with eating that, okay? So brain, memory, cognitive impairment, headaches, migraine, according to this study. If you're deficient in B12 and choline, they go together. It's the first time I've ever seen that, but it makes sense. Mental, mood swings, irritability, insomnia, depression, anxiety, delusions, delusional thinking. Interesting, isn't it? How your brain. Now remember, the brain is about balance in there. And your synapses and the electric grid. It needs that B12 and it needs choline for the brain. Okay? How do you get choline? Eggs, meat, and cheese. Okay. Neurological, paresthesias, numbness, poor balance, tinnitus. Guys, how often do we see tinnitus? I always tell people, get off the stinking when you lower insulin resistance, a lot of times tinnitus is a symptom of insulin resistance. Who knew? People don't even talk about that. People suffer with tinnitus for years, and I'm not saying that, there's necessarily a cure, but a lot of patients over the years got better when they switched their diet, when I could convince them to eat from the animal kingdom, to get your nutrients from there. Poor neurological, paresthesias, numbness around the face. I always talk to you about that with B12. The tongue, inside the mouth, choline, and B12 deficiencies, poor balance, tinnitus, blood. They saw this changes in blood work where they had increase in hypersegmented neutrophils. Blood work was changed because of these deficiencies in B12 and choline. At the end of the day, guys, B12 is a finicky vitamin. I've taught you that over the years, that B12, you can eat a lot of red meat and still be low in B12, and the reason is because it's finicky. You need the intrinsic factor. You need everything in your digestive tract to work properly. But one thing that I've said over the years too, I don't care what medication you're on, from statin drugs to metformin. A lot of people, we're hearing all about these, what would I call them, designer drugs, coming out of Hollywood almost to lose weight, right? And these designer drugs, and I mean, apparently there's a shortage of them because it's sort of, everybody wants to get on drugs or medication to lose weight, but they don't think of the side effects of that. One of the most important side effects, and I'm telling you that when you have one of the most important side effects is a B12 deficiency, and you can do irreparable damage if you're deficient in B12 long enough. So if you know anyone on these designer drugs, would you at least beg them to take B12? I can't get over, sometimes I'm mad at doctors, okay? Sometimes, okay? And I'm not mad. I'm disappointed, okay? I'm disappointed. Because they know a lot about the drugs, but they don't know about the side effects. So who I'm hardest on are the pharmacists of the world. It really bothers me that pharmacists who should know better, let me talk to you, right? Like the pharmacist is supposed to talk to you when you fill out a prescription. Do they ever tell you, oh, by the way, you're taking an antibiotic? How about I give you a probiotic? You're taking metformin for diabetes? How about I give you some B12? They don't do it. They don't do it. They should do it. Any medication, high blood pressure, diuretic, or whatever, you're going to be low in vitamin B12. And listen to the symptoms. Listen to the damage that vitamin can do when you're deficient in it. Now, I know it added choline, but most people never get enough choline. Dr. Martin, my cholesterol is going to go up if I eat eggs. I'm limited to the amount of eggs. Why? Who told you that? You know my overarching principle. We have a food industry that doesn't care about your health. Right? And then we have a medical community that doesn't know anything about nutrition. They just don't know anything about balance. Right? Moderation. If I've heard moderation a million times, at least, I hate moderation. Eat in moderation. Oh, here's one from the nutrition field. You can't live without carbs. Yes, you can. Yes, you can. You'll thrive without carbs. I'm not saying, I'm not saying never to eat carbs. I'm not saying it. But you don't need them. Dr. Martin, how am I going to get my vitamin C? Drink coffee. You'll get better vitamin C. You'll get better phytonutrients. Ooh. Anyway, isn't that interesting, guys? Deficiency in choline and B12. Catastrophic. Catastrophic. And I bet you dollars to donuts that if I could test 1,000 random people and get their blood work, 900 at least would be low in B12. And they'd be low in choline too. They'd be low in choline too. So guys, look, choline and B12 deficiencies. I didn't even talk about vitamin A or zinc, or we'll talk about some of that. The nutrients that you need, your body absolutely needs, and we are deficient today big time. We'll talk about that. But I think tomorrow is question and answer Friday, isn't it? So we'll get to that perhaps next week. Guys, have I told you lately that I love you? I haven't. Well, we're running out of real estate here in 2023, and I want you guys to get the memo that you're loved. You know what? Yesterday, Tony and Junior and I were giving each other high fives because we've hit over 4 million downloads on the Doctor Is In podcast. We were celebrating 1 million not long ago. We're at 4 million. So we gave each other some high fives last night. But what we really want to do is give you guys high fives, because without our audience, of course, And without our little friends of this program, you guys are friends to this program, okay? And there's people they download and we never see them because they can't watch us live, okay? They can't. They're working or whatever. I get that. And they're true friends too. But you guys are sort of my, inner associates. I know you by your first name pretty well, okay? And guys, we appreciate you, okay? I just want you to know that. I want you to get that memo before this year runs out, how much we love you. We're up to 4 million downloads. It's incredible, okay? Now, okay, I can breathe. Okay, we love you guys. We'll talk to you soon.